Hi guys, so I am here with a labor and delivery story with baby number 2, baby Solomon. So let's just jump into this story because it's crazy, unexpected, unbelievable. So let's get started. So this all started, well, the very beginning of it started the night of January 23rd. That's the first time I started having contractions. So I had contractions for about an hour that day that started from about 20 minutes apart all the way to 2 minutes apart, and then it just went away. So after that, I never really had contractions again until February the 6th, I believe. I started having contractions. Well, I had been having contractions, but I didn't really know they were contractions. But I started having contractions on the 6th, on and off, like Braxton Hicks, nothing consistent. So on the 7th, I was like, okay, I feel like my body's preparing to go into labor. I don't want to make it to 40 weeks because 40 weeks for me would have been February 13th. So I was like, okay, I'm going to walk this baby out. So I decided that day to do stuff around my house, and then I went outside with my husband and my son, and I walked around a whole yard for like 20 minutes back and forth. So after I did that, hold on, what's wrong? Okay, so after that, I walked around my house for about, well, my yard for about 20 minutes. Then we came inside, everything was fine, normal. That night, like most nights, I always had contractions. Whenever I did have them, they were always at night. So that night, I started having contractions. And I was like, okay, they're not hurting, but I am having them. So I had contractions from about 11 p.m. Just spontaneous, like 20 minutes apart, 15 minutes apart, 8 minutes apart, 18 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart. Like nothing was under 5 minutes apart until later on. So then I was like, okay, I want to make sure I'm in labor. So I pretty much did that till about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was like, okay, let me walk around my house. So I walked around my house for about 10 to 15 minutes. So then around 2 o'clock in the morning, I told my husband, I was like, I'm about to go lay down. I was like, I'm having these contractions that probably stop anyway. Yeah, I'm in pain, but I could like talk through them. And so I was like, I can't be that far along, like dilated, if I can still talk through my contractions. Or sometimes I'll be like, okay, hold on, wait, okay, better. So he was like, I don't think that's a good idea for you to go like lay down and take a nap and then and you're having contractions. But I was like so tired, and so I was like, okay, fine. So I just sat up in the bed, and then he was like, around 2:30, he was like, okay, what are we gonna do? And I was like, okay, I've been having them so consistent that I just need to be checked out just for like, you know, just to have a good state of mind to make sure that everything's okay. Like, I was like, maybe, because before that I'd been to the doctor and they said that I was like 4 centimeters dilated. I was like, maybe I'm like 5 or 6, so maybe they'll just admit me based on the fact of how far along I'm probably dilated. So in my mind, I'm thinking like I'm like 5 or 6. So I told him, I was like, okay, let's go ahead and get ready. So we took a shower, put our clothes on, got dressed, got our older son up. So we leave our house about 3:30. It takes us almost about 30 minutes to get to like the next county over or town over, however you want to describe it, where my parents live, where we were dropping our oldest son off. We were going to drop him off with my mom. So I called her at like 3:30 and I'm like, hey, having contractions, I'm bringing Simeon. Okay, she's like, all right. So we left the diaper bag. We were packed. I mean, everything was packed, but for some reason my husband left this bag right here where it was sitting. I don't know why. Anyway, make a long story short, we get to my mom's house. By the time we get to my mom's house, those contractions were hitting. They were kicking my butt. I'm like screaming, holding on to the seatbelt. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I might be further along than I thought. And I'm like, I gotta hurry up, get to the hospital so I can get this epidural. So then we get to my mom's house. I was like in so much pain. My son's like night shoes, like his slippers were in the car. I was trying to tell my husband to get them. He acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. So I literally took the shoes and just threw them out the car. Like I couldn't even talk. Like I just threw them out the car. So then from my mom's house to the hospital is maybe about 10 minutes, if so, with traffic, maybe about 8. So then we're driving and I'm like, come on, to my husband. I'm like, it's hurting. I can feel him in between my legs. Like, oh my gosh, I labored for too long. And he's like, okay, calm down. I know you're in pain, but okay, you're over exaggerating. So we get to the hospital. I get in the parking lot and we get ready to get out. Now with my first son, I was able to walk in myself. This time, no. I barely made it to the hospital door and I'm like, oh, it hurts so bad. I can't do this, that, and the other. He had to get me a wheelchair. So by the time I got in the wheelchair and got to triage for them to like check me or decide if they were going to admit me, I'm like, I'm in pain, this, that, and the other. And they're like, what is your concern? And I'm like, my concern is that this baby is going to fall out of me. So then they get me in there and the lady's like, okay, here, we need you to take a urine sample. And I'm like, look, lady, I can't give you no urine sample. I am in pain. Like, I don't know, something's not right. And I go to try to pee and I cannot, and I'm like, I gotta push. And they were like, what? I was like, yes. And they were like, okay, lay down, let me check you. I laid down and she goes, oh my God, wake the doctor. Somebody wake the doctor up. She's at a 9 or a 10. She's ready to push. I was like, no, not me. I am not ready to push. And so then they wheel me really fast out of triage to across the hall. The doctor, one of the doctors that's on staff at where I my OBGYN, because it's like 4 doctors and like 2 or 3 midwives, it's a bunch of them. So one of those doctors come in. I have met her like 2 or 3 times before, and it was funny because she was she was the doctor that checked me at 38 weeks and said I was 0% dilated or whatever, and that like when she saw me, she was like, oh, when you come in, we're gonna have to give you an epidural immediately. But the funny thing was, I didn't get an epidural. So they wheeled me into the room, and I'm like, they're hooking up this IV to me, and I'm like, do I have to finish that whole bag before I get an epidural? And they're like, honey, yeah, you have to have an IV. And I'm like, am I gonna get some medicine? Can I get an epidural? Can I get a this? My husband said he overheard them say this. I didn't hear them say this, but they said she's not gonna get an epidural. That baby's coming. And so then they lay me down, and they're like, look, you're gonna have this baby before the anesthesiologist can get her. I was like, what? And then it just went left. I was just ballistic. I was like, I can't do this. And they were like, yes, you can. I was like, oh, it hurt. And oh my God, he says that I was screaming so loud that everybody downtown Atlanta could hear me. I don't know, but I was just in so much pain. And that was like my biggest fear, to have this baby with no epidural. Like, I had to have an epidural. And I was just like, I can't get some morphine. Am I gonna get something? Right when I said, can I get something? It goes, boop, my water broke. And I knew when my water broke, he was coming for real, because I could already feel the pressure and like his head down there. And then my water had broke, and they were like, all right, it's time to push. I'm like, push what? They're like, push. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying to push, and they're like, you know, you have to wait for your contractions. But I could not feel the beginning and the end of a contraction. It just felt like one continuous contraction. I'm like, y'all gonna have to tell me when to push. So at this point, I have closed my eyes. And then my husband said that I told them, hold on, like when they told me it was time to push, hold on, let me talk to God. I don't remember saying that, but I do remember like praying or talking to God in my head. So I don't know, but anyway, so then this lady grabbed my hand and was like, honey, when we get to heaven, we're going to ask Eve about this. And I was like, whoa, hold on, heaven, where am I? So then I opened my eyes, and she was like, you can do it. I have 8 kids you can push. Make a long story short, I screamed, I hollered, I hooped, I can't breathe. They told me, yes, you can breathe because you're talking, so you're breathing. It was just dramatic. Make a long story short, I got to the hospital at 4:21. My son was born at 4:37. He was born within 16, 17 minutes, give or take, because, you know, he had to get hooked up in the room. But from the time that I got to triage till when he was born was 16 minutes. He was born at 4:37 a.m., 6 pounds, 12 ounces, 19 inches on February 8th, 2019. So that's how that labor and delivery story went. I did tear, so that was what it was. I wasn't really surprised by that. I'm really small and petite, so I was gonna be shocked if I didn't. Plus, he's way bigger than my first son. My first son was 5 pounds, 3 ounces, and 17.25 inches. So yeah, but that was pretty much my labor and delivery story. Then I got all, you know, done up, and I had to get stitched up and sewed up with no epidural. all natural. And so but it was amazing because God had put in my heart that all things, like, there's nothing impossible with God. And that had been in my spirit for the day before I had even went into labor. And so I told my mom about it, told my husband about it. I read a devotional, and then it just kept coming up in my spirit. And then I was like, wow, I can do anything with God. You know, my biggest fear, the one thing I didn't want to do, I did. And it was just amazing, because what I will say is the recovery has been amazing. Like, I feel a lot better compared to the way I felt when I had my first son. My first son, I didn't feel good. I was groggy. I was still like mobile, walking around, but I just didn't feel good after I gave birth to him. But that was because I was full of medicines. But after that, I stayed 2 hours in recovery, went over to mother and baby, and then after only staying at the hospital for 36 hours, me and my son were discharged. So that is pretty much my labor and delivery story of my second son, all natural, no epidural, not by choice, because if it was up to me, I just knew I was getting that epidural. But I could do it, and I did it. And so I would say, if you get in a situation where you think you can't do something, you know, you can do all things with Jesus Christ, and with God, nothing is impossible. Because I would tell you lying, not me. Never. Natural. Nope. 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 Not even trying. So, yeah. And I thought it was amazing that I didn't know I was that far along. Like, in my brain, I thought I was like a 5 or like a 6 tops. I was ready to push. And they said, had I turned around and went back and we went and got that hospital bed, because I was really kind of upset with my husband for leaving it, I, not probably, but more than likely would have delivered him in the car or at my mom's house, because he was not waiting. He was not playing. So I won't be showing my son on here. I probably will show him probably like in a 1-month postpartum update or something, like the back of his head, so y'all can see that I have had a baby. But because he's laying now, he's sleeping now. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I need to say in my labor and delivery? But that's pretty much it. It was fast, it was quick. I called my mom about like right before 5 o'clock, and I was like, hey, he's here. She was like, what? I was like, yes, he's here. So yeah, it was just amazing. And then my husband was like, you know, you the truth, girl, like, you did that. He was just like, you know, I think it did something to him when he realized how far along I really was, and he saw me do it naturally. I think it really did something to him. So yeah, I will be sharing my push gift with you guys. So I should have that coming up soon, or it will probably be up before this video, depending on when I can get this video up. But that's it. That is a summary of my labor and delivery story with baby number 2, all natural. I probably will do like a versus epidural versus natural birth, because I have experienced them both, and I've experienced them within the last like 5 years, 4.5 years. So I'm pretty, everything's pretty fresh in my mind. I'll probably do that video, and then I'm probably gonna do a labor and delivery type haul, because I know some people that's never had babies before, they always wonder, what does the hospital supply, or like, what do you get from the hospital? And I got a good amount of things this time around, so I'll probably do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will show you all my belly. Today is February the 11th. It's Monday, so I'm pretty sure it's February 11th. I'm gonna show you all my belly, but keep in mind, this is my, let's see, 9, 10, 3-day postpartum belly. So don't, you know, it is what it is, but I know it'll go back down. So anyway, I'm going to show you all my belly, and that is it for baby number 2. Will I have more kids at this point? No, but you know how it is. You have babies, you forget what it feels like to give birth, and then you do it all over again. So anyway, I'm going to show you all my belly, and if you have any more questions about my labor and delivery story, you can leave a comment down below, and of course hit the like button, and I'll see y'all in my next one. And let me show you my belly. So, and I have to go slow because I am still a little sore, and because I didn't take any pain medicine except for when after I first had him, they gave me a pill, but that was it. Other than that, I didn't get anything but an IV. So all right, so this is my 3-day postpartum belly. So let me know what you all think. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, of course, subscribe. And I do have a belly band, but I haven't been wearing it all the time. So, but I am going to start wearing it maybe after a week or so once my body, you know, does its own thing naturally. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.